drawing in paint for the first time in years. You read that right. I haven't drawn in Paint, I don't know if it's still called Microsoft Paint, in years. And of course, you know I had to draw. That's right, Spider-Man, my favorite. He's my go-to for drawing for anything. So I had to bring him in, of course. And stylistically, it could be any of the Spider-Man, but with the way I do the eyes on the mask, it looks a lot more like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, because that's how I taught myself to draw him, like, to learn by memory, how to memorize every single inch of that suit. So, yeah, that's why he looks like that. But again, it could be any of them, but he's my favorite. And if you like another one, totally cool. I just want people to like what they like and not put down other people for liking something else. Now that that's out of the way, yes, I am drawing in, I don't know if it's still called Microsoft Paint or just Paint or what, but the program Paint that comes on most computers, Windows computers nowadays, it allows you to draw in it, whether it's like pixel or painting, or they have different things than when I was younger. I used to use like Windows XP Paint program. It was very old, but it felt like home, and that's actually what I taught myself to draw on when I started drawing on the computer for the first time, and I didn't have a tablet either. I used a computer mouse to draw. Now, that being said, the drawings I did aren't good by my standards now, but for the fact that I was able to draw that way with a mouse, it's pretty cool. So I thought, hey, I've been drawing in Photoshop for literally years. I have not drawn in another program like Paint. I mean, I've used GIMP, but that's different. I haven't drawn in actual Paint, the program, and I don't even remember. But I used to go to town when I would draw. I'm talking multiple drawings, like whether they're full fleshed out drawings, portraits, headshots, little doodles, little emoticons, badges, all these things. I used to be very much into that kind of thing growing up. I did it for a long time. I started in elementary, and eventually I got a DeviantArt account where I posted almost daily and sometimes like 5 pictures a day. I don't think I've drawn that much since then. Even in my college days, when I had to get a lot of work done, I don't think I was as much of a machine as I was in those days. So doing this really takes me back. Some things are still the same from when I used to do it, and some things are different about the program, and I forget a lot of the things you cannot do in this program. Like, you know, there's no layers, I knew that, but you can't like rotate things to be exactly the way you want it. You can't make brush and eraser sizes as big as you want, even though I tried, mine just wouldn't do it. A whole bunch of things. Also, I forgot that I should do the shading in pixel art and stuff before putting all his lines on his body, but I made it work anyway because I couldn't go back. It would have taken so long. So you'll see I put in like a bunch of block shading, and then I'll go and add different shades of red, oranges, blues, purples, all of that kind of stuff. I kind of just start filling in squares and then kind of brush with the pencil, scratch little areas. I know they have different brushes like marker brush and pen brush and different kinds of paint like oil paint and watercolor, and I might do that in another video some other time, but this took a lot of time. But I kind of like the look of this. I didn't feel like playing around and getting into that. I kind of wanted to go back to what I used to do and see if I can still pull it off. So, you know, as you saw at the beginning, I had my sketch done in really rough, scribbly red, bright red. And the way that, you know, you could get around that was either use the paint bucket to go back and forth between that color that you use your sketch after you've outlined it in black or whatever dark color you're outlining it in. You just fill and then empty it by clicking right click Is it right black? Yeah. Anyway, back and forth between that color and white until it's clear, or you could take the eraser and then put the color you're using as the second color, erase it. Anyway, but excuse me, what I was trying to say is that's how I'm so used to sketching. When I was younger, I used to sketch a bit, but when I was really doing it for like the first few times, and by first few times I mean years, I used to just go for it and make the drawing straight up, just start the drawing instead of having an underlying sketch and building on it to make it a certain way. So it did take a long time for me to learn that, but there are a lot of little tips and tricks that it feels cool to kind of go back because it feels so familiar in certain ways, like the way that I used to do things. So doing this, I was actually pretty proud of myself for the fact that I'm still able to make a dynamic looking picture without it being over complicated and stressing myself out, because you cannot do things in layers, which is why I love Photoshop so much. So yeah, getting back to this, I was really trying to just play around with shapes. Making Spider-Man look the most interesting in 3D was the main part that I needed. Everything else could be more 2D-ish. So as you can see, like he's on like the top of a building with glass panels on the roof that are all in like a pyramid shape. And then there's a very light, pale background of a city. And I end up adding like a bit of windows here and there. And I actually did use a little bit of the oil brush for the clouds just so they looked a little bit less sharp and in your face. And yeah, I played around with the windows for a while to try different directions, squeezing them, stretching them, all that kind of stuff. And I played around with the colors a lot, tried adding a little bit of reflection and shadow on it. Again, I didn't need it to be 100% like 3D looking as much as Spider-Man because I really wanted him to stand out and like be the forefront of the picture, but still look like he belongs in the picture. So you'll see that I added a little bit of a shadow under him. But yeah, I added some light to the glass panes, and here's the shadow. Yeah, I thought, okay, let's add a little bit of another layer to the city just in front. And yeah, so this is the finished piece. Drawing in MS Paint, which I haven't done in probably over 10 years or more. So wow, thank you so much you guys for watching, and I'm so grateful for all of you who watched my last videos. I really put a lot of work into it and all the stuff that I got to do. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out, and I hope to see you guys next week. Bye!